What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 26 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Thorgrim Grudgebearer Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, Ungrim Iron Fist and his slayers did the old slayering at the Vale of Webs, taking out tons and tons of greenskins in a pretty great fight. We continue to advance through the former Sylvanian territories, former Imperial territories, and it looks like Vlad is pretty much done here, so at least Null nor Visenland will be relatively safe, minus the sort of rats, though we still have all of the orcs and chaos and whatnot running around in the northern portions of the Empire, which are in absolute shambles and have, I think, one single territory belonging to Reichland remaining. And Karaz has obliterated the entirety of Marienburg here, which ain't so great for these guys either. Still kind of neat though. I love to see an AI do well like this. Kazarak's at level 50, which is just fantastic, so good job for him. And if only we could have him as an ally in the Kairos campaign to get all of the, hopefully, units that he has. Anyway, otherwise, we're still in something of a deadlock here against the undead, though we are starting to move against them. We have knocked out a fair few of their armies at this point, and might be able to start pushing outward and into the territories of the Barrow Legion. Gotta take these guys out, though I'm a little bit concerned that since the Barrow Legion in Old World every time seems to always ally with all of the Southern Realms factions, I'm a bit concerned that all the Southern Realms factions will start hating us, but at least we can rely on the Central Confederacy and the North Confederacy here, who are very friendly with us and probably much friendlier with us than they are with the Barrow Legion. Yeah, in fact, they don't have diplomatic contact and they don't like each other, but they're situated around Old Dwarf Road and Berwick-Var, and well, that makes sense why they would like us. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this turn, let's start with, I guess, Joseph of Zorn. It seems like comments-wise, everybody wants us to kill the elves, so I guess we're going to kill the elves. Fine. It's probably too late to get the Lothern Skycutters, which is the main thing that I wanted anyway, so I might as well just start moving into their territories. I'd like to find Imric himself with Joseph of Zorn's army, because I'm interested to see how his ludicrous amounts of fire resistance, how well it will work against the fire army. But we do have to be careful, because we only currently have one army here, and it might behoove us to send a second one. We do have the ability to construct an army here at Karaz, and maybe we'll do that, because if Imric is here, that'll be a problem. Although I suppose the Explosions army can move down there as well, as it is starting to move towards the towards these greenskins, but after we take them out, we could just sort of move southward. Is this the only territory belonging to these guys? 3. Oh, they have another one here. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Oh. I think we can't leave them here, can we? Man, maybe I jumped the gun a little bit. Maybe we should wipe them out from the hills. Maybe even raise the hills with Joseph of Zorn and then book it on back towards Imric. Might be the better option. Anyway, let's we'll figure that out as we go. We've got other stuff, bigger fish, and all of that to fry. Grimly, you are good as you are for now. Frankly, the rear guards are no longer providing too much use for us, at least not anymore, as the massive amount of control and the gold that they give is no longer of particular effect, but I suppose we'll keep them around at least until we have completed all of our techs, which we're well on the way to doing. Anyway. Let's see what else we've got here. Finn Arkandraskelson, I believe you're besieging the Putrid Tar Pits. We're going to allow them a chance to sally out and attack us. And Vikram Berdrick, you maybe start recruiting some stuff. I did just say that we might send you to fight in Imric, so why not? I guess we should probably build an army that's at least somewhat specialized to knocking dragons out of the sky, so let's get some Iron Drakes in here, with Torps, maybe a couple of organ guns and a couple of cannons. That'll be sort of the ranged line, and melee line will need some anti-large, so maybe some Giant Slayers, and what else could we do? Maybe some Giant Slayers, some Thunderers, a little bit of an Air Force to counter the enemy Air Force, something along those lines. Maybe one engineer as well, just to buff these guys up as we've seen the effectiveness. And besides, there isn't a guarantee that, you know, Imric's army is actually going to have all that many dragons. This is the AI after all. But nonetheless, I do think that it is a at times nice to build armies specialized towards doing specific things and facing off against specific foes. Anyway, you're good where you are, Elmador Redax. Oh right, you were besieging Licheburg here, which... Oh, right, I wanted to see whether we could auto-resolve this. If we do this and then pop this on, I don't know, you... It's gonna kill this unit of miners. Do we care about this one unit of miners? Not really, but at the same time, it's a very high-ranked unit now, and... I don't like the fact that it's gonna die. I mean, I guess we could fight it. It is still more than a stack, and this army isn't really buffed because, well, this guy doesn't have red line buffs, which might make it a little bit tougher, heroic victory or not. Plus, I always love fighting the dead, so why not? Go. Alrighty, here we go. Let's see how well we do with an army that isn't buffed against these guys. Still, we do have good units, so buffed or not, the enemy's probably still going to struggle against us, at least to some degree. Gonna start the battle off with those Zufbar 42-pounders, mowing down a rank of the skeleton warriors. Actually not killing a single one, but taking out about 30% of their HP. A little bit different for the monstrous impact-causing units of grudge throwers, which are killing models and dishing out damage to the HP. I wonder why that is. I guess the alpha strike on the Zufbar 42-pounders cannons isn't high enough to actually kill off individual models, and is mostly based around doing splash damage to everybody, but relatively little of it. Anyway, bombardment's going to continue until morale improves, as in our morale, and well, it's improving by the skeleton return to the grave. Just gotta annoy the enemy enough until they get ready to move towards us. Looks like the first of the enemy skeleton warriors is beginning to melt away. I wonder if the enemy's trying to hide them in the forest on purpose, because it is doing a good job moving them out here to where hopefully at least some of those rocks will miss. But probably a little bit too late for this particular skeleton unit as it is melting away. Rest of the enemy army is annoyed, yes, and are starting to move towards us, so we're going to separate our fire into sort of two different portions of the battlefield. Especially considering that these guys do a lot of splash damage with those split-shot projectiles of theirs, we want to try to maximize the damage rather than attacking the same unit or units in the same sort of location. And it also combines with that monstrous impact, which is just a crazy amount of speed reduction, and that alone brings the Grave Guard down to 7 movement speed. Can't wait to see how the slowdown army works. I'm willing to bet it's going to work pretty darn well between the various slowdowns. And hey, there's a decent chance that we actually see its first fight this episode, now that I think about it. Anyway, looks like over on the left flank, some of the enemies are moving towards us, some Fellbats, some dire wolves. In terms of our formation, we do have the Slayer pirates out front. And they're taking a few of the pistol pot shots at the enemy. Behind them our melee and our fire units. The dwarf warriors and the miners on the very flanks, and the iron drakes and the drake guns in the center, and then of course behind them we have the quarrelers, the grudge throwers, and the troll hammer torpedoes. Saying all this as the enemy is still very, very slowly on the approach, losing units here and there. And it looks like another one is nearly gone. This should be a nice volley if it actually lands, which about half of it landed, so decent enough. Ooh, looks like the bats are ready to go at last and are gonna move in. The doggos at the same time. And we're going to slow them down and debuff them a little bit with that good old-fashioned flash bomb. Maybe not so old-fashioned, but anyway. And looks like the doggos take massive amounts of damage rather quickly. The bats will be following up shortly with. But the dogs do more damage, so they have to be the priority over the bats, because the bats are mostly there to force you to hold the ground, to distract you, since they have very low melee attack and very high melee defense. Looks like another unit of bats has decided to chase around our units of the Thunderers with Drake guns. And frankly, we probably did a little bit of splash damage to ourselves with our own Iron Drakes, but what can you do? And the first of the enemies in the center of the enemy line is moving in. Flamethrowers are just the perfect unit against zombies. effectiveness aside, you just want to flamethrower hordes of zombies. It's, I don't know. It's the perfect thing to do. And the Drake guns are probably working quite well at the same exact thing as well. There we go, knocking those zombies down and giving them even more fire resistance reduction. Or giving them more fire weakness, rather. Not quite the same thing. While the Iron Drakes burninate them. And I don't think the sort of small elements of the enemy front line will reach us, but this is of their basic army, not of their garrison, and the garrison is the one that has the elites, the Graveguard, the Crypt Horrors, etc., etc., etc. So frankly, these guys distracting us, instead of allowing us to fire upon their elites, is probably a good thing for the enemy. Anyway, enemy trying to move towards us. We got that take cover debuff and monstrous impact on those poor Crypt Horrors down to a mere 16 movement speed, and they're having a pretty bad time being both slowed down, taking shots from the brimstone gun of that particular engineer, and then the troll hammer torpedoes as well. And there we go with that. The first of the enemy Crypt Horrors is down, and we're going to switch to the next. It is lucky that we have a random troll hammer in this particular army. It's functioning decently well enough for a sort of a smattering of generalist troops. Admittedly, the Slayer pirates in this army have been with us since we confederated Ungrim, which has now been a fairly long time ago. Alright, it looks like that unit of Crypt Horrors is going to make it towards us no better than the zombies did. However, there is an enemy vampire who is attempting to rush towards us, shield up, and is he casting or is this us casting? No, this is us casting. A Rune of Slowness is next on the menu for the poor Von Karstein Vampire Lord, dropping him down to 9 speed, and that's even without the monstrous impact on him. Can't even really spot him in the fires of the Iron Drakes and the Drake guns, and there he is, and down he goes, dropping his shield and having had a very, very bad day. There we go, dramatic topple. But I don't think he's faking, guys. I think he's genuinely injured. Anyway, looks like we've got a few more units moving towards us, but they're having a very difficult time reaching our line. Generally speaking, the bounce power has shifted to about 85% in our favor. Another vampire about to go down. This one under fire from the troll hammers and brimstone guns, as well as all of the other units. And will fall dead to the field as well. Or true dead, I guess. And it looks like some of the enemies have actually managed to reach our right flank, and the doggos will be backed up by some Crypt Ghouls. Good for the AI. We're going to buff up our Slayer Pirates with a Master Rune of Speed, giving them a massive increase to their melee attack, so that they can start to work in their way through those Crypt Ghouls. Especially since I'd wager the rest of the enemy army, the Graveguard and whatever, are not going to reach our line. We may as well watch the Slayers fight the Crypt Ghouls a little bit. Somewhat similar units here in the sense that they're both fragile, frenzied damage dealers, but obviously the Crypt Ghouls don't have any kind of range weapon on them. And this also gives the opportunity for our Lord to whack away at a few of the enemies. Most of our Lords aren't the Runesmith variants, or Rune Lord variants, rather. We've mostly been using the Dwarf High Lords and the Overseers to command our armies, plus all of our Legendary Lords, of course, of which, admittedly, we have a lot. But not to worry, we will have 3 or 4 new Rune Lord armies coming up. Anyway, I believe that was the second last of the units. There was one skeleton spear that went really wide, or long and wide, and decided to go after our flanks, but, you know, slow-moving skeletons, and waited until after the entirety of the rest of their army was dead, giving us a heroic victory. Alright, there we go. No problem whatsoever. Then it looks like our Grudge Settler, Grudge Thrower units once again did fantastic, as did the Fire units, and the Slayers as well. Everybody's getting trained up to be sent to their sort of themed armies anyway, so it's still valuable time. Anyway, we are going to occupy Licheburg. And I didn't quick save it. Ooh, okay, we're okay this time. And we, I guess, can upgrade it. We got 4 turns. Oh, 4 turns means we probably won't hold off, or we won't be... Well, just build it now anyway. This doesn't reduce the building time by 2. No, I'm confusing it with the Kairos campaign, aren't I? Alright, fair enough. Just go into Empower the Guilds or whatever. Can we build anything here in the amount of time that we have? I guess you can go for the Sparring Chamber. If you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, it's this. We will want to trade off all of the territories that we've taken from Sylvania before the next stage of Reckoning arrives, so within 4 turns, unless of course we delay it. But on the other hand, I'm kind of interested to see how much, even if it will be absolutely impossible to do another Age of Reckoning, just because those enemies that remain don't offer us enough grudges to be worth our time, even if we spread out into the Orky lands. I mean, we were at 85,000, we're probably going to go like 150,000, even with the territories transferred, just due to the sheer amount of territories that we've gained. So yeah, it's not going to be possible. What is, however, going to be possible is seeing it, and because I'm interested in what it is, and as in the number. And before we do either way, we'll want to transfer these territories, which we'll do at that time. Anyway, let's keep going. Who is up next? That was Elmador Redax, who is actually going to also lead an army. Just we need to, you know, get him an army first. Malachi, wait, were you besieging something or no? You were besieging Dushyka. Oh, right. We were going to give them a chance to sally out. Alright, fine, fair enough. Let's see if they sally out then. And back to the order. Once again, really think that they need to modify the... Country hold fast. You are... Oh, you're here, right. They need to modify this menu in such a way where clicking on a lord immediately takes you to that lord in this portion of the menu. Just would be really nice. Anyway, Callan Heldauer, you are down here waiting for these guys to take Averheim, so that's fine. Elmador Redax, we just moved. Azrael doesn't need to move. Grothbarak is besieging. And, oh, wait, no, he's not. I lied. I confused you with Finarken, Draskelson. I'm sorry, man. You... I mean, we don't have enough armies to take... I was wondering whether we should send you back around, because you actually would be really good against the High Elves. Imagine outranging High Elf archers with our Dwarf Engineers and torpedoes and whatnot. But anyway, you're here now, and this is where you're going to keep fighting. Might as well fight some orcs then. Go this way. And... it moved up again. Or at the very least, remove that functionality where it changes this, because I'm trying to keep track of who's supposed to go where. Dimzed Blackbeard, you are potentially going to get another army raised with the... Well, you know what? We can start moving these troops here, and we'll raise it here if we are going to advance towards the Cornate territories. He got some decent troops, and okay, it moved again. He got some decent troops to send to some army. Combined with some other stuff, maybe some allied units as well. Morgus Stachel Gundrickson. Okay, you guys. I'll deal with you in a second, but let's deal with everybody else first. Belagar's headed down to the Bloody Hands now. Eventually, or actually maybe against the Ironclaw Orcs. I mean, I suppose if we wipe out we could wipe out the Elves first and then move to the Ironclaw Orcs. Maybe even fight the Cornates first. Yeah, going to Beric Dawa's bag for now, and okay, at least Belagar's easy to spot in here because his icon is easy to spot, which I say as I promptly lose him. Belagar? Oh, there he is. Alrighty, Ungrim. And now, as for Ungrim, he can fight greenskins, so we could send him down to deal with the Ironclaw Orcs, but at the same time, we don't have a lot of armies up north, and yes, we could absolutely build 1 billion more armies, but it'll just become super tedious if we do, because then I'll get confused as to who's supposed to be where, and... You're supposed to fight greenskins, chaos, or vampires. Azrael's gonna go for the Silver Pinnacle, but there's a lot of territory to cover here. And you could fight some Chaos Dwarfs, though funnily enough, I think you're not actually buffed for fighting Chaos Dwarfs, you're fighting regular Chaos, but you don't get bonuses against them. But either way, I think we're gonna send you up north. Can we... Like so. Time to move, sir. And who was after Ungrim, if I can, once again... find anybody, please, game, please. Okay, there was Ungrim, a Brock Ironpick. We are going to... Okay, yeah, I'm going to move all of these guys together, so I'm just ignoring them for now. Hergar Ironwill, yes. You... Okay, well, there's two things about you. First, you're waiting for your lord. Oh, it's a Dwarfen Rebellion attacking Mount Greyhag. Huh, I wonder if they'll win. Alright, fine, you can just sort of sit here since you're waiting for your lord anyway. There isn't any real need to... Although I guess we could just try to bypass this. You know what, go into this territory. You also are going to need another engineer, but anyway, you're going to bypass this territory, jump over these guys, we'll see how long the Dwarf Rebels besiege, we'll take out Greyhag Retreat and then these settlements, and then loop back around to Mount Greyhag afterwards as needed. I think that'll work. Alright, and who were you? You were Hergar Ironwill. I should just rename you to Replace, because you're going to be replaced. I'll do it later. Or I'll forget. Well, his lord's going to be back up in 2 turns, so it doesn't really matter. And where are you? Wait, who is Story Azrael? You... Oh, right. You're an actual army. Okay, fair enough. I swear there was somebody that we were supposed to move that was besieging something, but I don't see them anymore. We got armies being constructed here. This is the Gap Holdfast. Now you're gonna move together with all of the other guys. Maybe that's it. Jamek Doomtamer, you're still waiting for recruitment. Morgus Drenger is building a war drum as he's supposed to be. Guardians obviously don't need to move, and that was Hergar Ironwall. Okay, well if there is anybody, I don't know who they are. Let's move these guys in. First of all, Kazran Grimbrow. Technically, you're supposed to be leading an army because you've done good work. You have Axe Lord, Thunderer, and Grimnir's heirs. Kind of interesting. Let's get your flow of battle. You have Venerate Grimnir as well. And does anybody rank 7 in this army? No, so you can't really take any advantages of this. I don't dislike you as a sort of mixed army, though. Let's get your Dowie firepower, because I'm sure you'll be using at least some ranged units, because you have Thunderer anyway. And just to try to move towards stand your ground. Let's try to take out Ernst Barrickmere. Let's see if he stays here and draws these guys out. He will. And... I mean, we basically just fought this fight. I think we can just not fight it again. Let us go... Okay, let's actually quick save just in case this time. And... do we need the banners? Well, I mean, to be fair, the banners would be nice against the... or the fire banner would be nice against the undead, because they're weak to it, so why not? And we'll do that. We will take the... I was hoping to take the Oath Gold, but it's so minimal it doesn't matter. Let's go here. Take Crinol. Off the back of fighting off, what, 3 stacks was it at the same time? This guy certainly earned his keep, Occupy. Alrighty, and what do we have here at Crinol? We can immediately upgrade it, but if we take Karak Bufdar, we will be able to upgrade it to tier 5. Though at the same time, we can upgrade you, because it only takes 2, and we'll get another 2 for taking Karaz-a-Karak. Yeah, that's fine. And these territories are going to be fortified. Oh, we can actually replace the engineer's workshop because we don't have a mine here, do we? Fine, we can build the engineer's workshop here. Can never have too many engineers. And even though this place will probably benefit from a bunch of adjacency bonuses, we'll see. We can also delete some of the stuff later. Frankly, you know, it's not super... it doesn't matter that much. Anyway, at this point in time. Hera Grundledrek, our Fire Slayer army, is sort of up and running, minus the fact that... What do we have at Domatburg? Oh, this might be worthy of our efforts. All right. We could move Scav Holdfast to have you two work together. Might be fun because you're both technically new armies, and you're supposed to. Let us begin. You're supposed to wait for a few more troops, but I think we could still fight with you. And frankly, they probably complement each other fairly well with what they've got going on. I guess we just don't move Stochel Gundrickson. Alright, let's do this. Domatburg, you are currently at war with a bunch of the Southern Realmers. We'll just ask one of them to join war. Actually, do we even need to? I don't even care. Let's move Scav Holdfast in like this. Just declare war straight up. Don't bother calling allies because this faction is pretty much done for anyway. And Clanfester doesn't have any allies. Alright, Scav Holdfast. Oh, we should probably level you up before we move on in. Well, this should be fun. They've got a pretty good couple of stacks, I gotta say. Is this a minor settlement or a... Nope, it's a field battle. Ooh, that's gonna make it even more fun. Beautiful. Alright, let's level you. You have... Well, 1 point short of Thunderer. Although, I guess Master Rune of Immolation is probably going to be the better pick here anyway, so let's go for Master Rune of Immolation. I just find Master Rune of Flight pretty useless, so yeah. Anyway, you are probably going to be wanting to sharpen weapons. In the slowdown army, they're going to want to deal as much of their damage as possible at range, so that makes sense. We are the elite, but we don't need it as yet. It's more critical to get Rune of Oath and Steel, definitely Rune of Slowness for this particular army. Might as well get Damping for less rat magics, and then Wardbreaker, Rune of Hearth and Home. At least the basic version of each rune. Alright, and there we go. Fire Slayer and Slowdown, not yet complete. Well, both armies are technically not yet complete, but getting there. And we should still be able to enjoy them both fighting some rats. Here we go. Almost. Come on. Yep. Alrighty, here we go. Time for two of our newly minted armies to debut. The new kids on the block, the new beards in the Karak, and the slowdown army at least is also toting these Outriders with 156 range and 71 missile strength, but that's not why we want them. It's for the suppression that they have. We'll see how the rats are able to deal with this. Actually, I'm gonna hope that the Outriders are capable of firing over the artillery pieces of the Goblin Hewers. If they're not, we are going to have to adjust the formation a little bit, with the Goblin Hewers probably situated in the middle of the units of Outriders. But we'll see. This army isn't complete yet, so it is going to need adjustment either way. Anyway, the battle will start off with our artillery. We got 3 of the Grudge Settler units of Grudge Throwers, and are looking to get 2 more. All of them firing at the enemy artillery back here. Certainly don't want those Plague Claw catapults or those Warp Lightning cannons firing away at us, and I imagine they're probably not going to be able to, as they've lost most of their crews and their models at this point, and we're ready to switch to other units. Alright, some big old blobs of rats in the center line. The main target is, of course, not going to be the Skaven Slaves, the Clan Rats, the Storm Vermin, whatever. It's going to be the Warp Grinders, as we definitely don't want them to close the distance. Fortunately, they're fairly vulnerable to artillery fire, and all that armor of theirs is certainly not going to help against them. Especially considering their armor might be high, but just like weapons teams, high armor doesn't matter nearly as much when your HP per unit is extremely low. Alright, looks like we've got some enemies on the left flank, 2 units of Gutter Runner Slings and 2 units of Gutter Runners with Shuriken, and those Shuriken are not to be underestimated. They've done about 30% of the damage to this unit of Thunderers. And a little bit of damage to one of the Goblin Hewers as well. We're going to reposition ourselves to fire upon them. And hopefully we can hold back the tide of rats until the Fire Slayer army moves on in. There we go, Outriders working together nicely with the Drake guns now. Slowing this unit down between the suppression and the flammable to 22 move speed. Pretty good. Could use more slowing, but, well, that's what this army is all about, and we'll combine it with more stuff. And that's against some of the faster-moving rats. 55 base, after all. Yeah, very nice. Alright, that unit of Gutter Runners is out, but they did plenty of damage, as the Thunderers with Drake guns have lost 50% of their HP, and not quite 50%, but getting close to it, of their number as well. And there's another Shuriken-chucking unit as well. So we'll have to gun those guys down. Otherwise, the main enemy host is still on the approach, but due to the slowdown of the monstrous impact, we've been able to keep them relatively, well, slow, and it has allowed our Fire Slayer army to move onto the field and get ready to back us up. We got Iron Drakes with Grudge Settlers, we got Engineers, which also do fire damage, we got some regular Slayers and some Slayer Pirates. And a couple of flame cannons in there as well. Pretty darn interesting combination, if I do say so myself, and I can't wait for them to get into some proper fights. Anyway, the bigger portion of the fight, or maybe not bigger portion, but at least the more dangerous portion of the fight has been happening on this left flank, wherein we are still in a shootout between our range units. Both auxiliary Imperial units and the Drake guns down to 30% of their HP now and 50% of their units. And then we've lost 2 of the units of Goblin Hewers as well, which in fact we're going to back off lest they get killed. Alright, but at least the Drake guns are still working, and it looks like the enemy's left flank is finally on the verge of collapse. Which is just on time, as the enemy's central units are starting to move on in and get closer to our main line. Although at the same time, just as our reinforcements have arrived, including the explosive torpedo launching dwarf engineers. And these guys, as we've seen, are pretty darn fantastic at clearing out blobs of units, sort of the height of the explosive units in this army. I actually really like the addition of the dwarf engineers and the Drake guns in SFO. The Drake guns give another unit for fire army types, and then the engineers give another unit to explosive army types, torpedo army types, and, well, fire army types as well. I'm not talking about Pokemon, or am I? But anyway. And the point is, they enable more different army compositions with just those two units, which is pretty darn nice. Alrighty, and it looks like with that, the enemy army is done for. We barely got onto the field with the Fire Slayers, but it looks like they weren't needed, as the slowed down army, by and large, was able to clear the enemy out, which is fantastic to see. Alright, these guys already have entrenched, so they will already have the bonus range. Anyway, there we go. A really nice fight. And while we did take damage on the left flank, it also gave us a nice shootout, a nice proper fight on that flank, which is always appreciated, rather than having the enemy just get killed long before they reach our lines. Okay, there we go. It fixed itself. There we go. The new kids on the block, the Fire Slayer army and the Slowdown army, get a nice debut battle for their first fight, working together before splitting off. Then I think we'll enjoy both of these armies as they are completed with the last of the units that they're missing. Also, this Rampager standard is probably going to be useless to you, but anyway, isn't it lovely to see the Outriders working together with the dwarfen units firing over their heads and whatnot. Basically, just lovely to see all of the gunnery factions unite and unite in harmony. Perfect harmony. Under the undead, ideally. I mean, whatever. Anyway, we'll occupy the place and get that free Executioner's Axe, useless for you because it'll actually take away your suppression, which is what you want in a slowdown army. Executioner's Axe will go on somebody else, Ranger Standard, Dwarfen Tattooist, and there we go. Domatburg is ours. We will still want to move down to Fester's Spike, as I imagine there's a full stack there, plus this should be a tier 5 defensive settlement at this point. Stachel, you're technically an auto-resolve army, and frankly it needs some modifications, but for now just move forward with everybody else. And in fact, wait, you're moving too far, go here. Oh, frick. Okay. Okay, well I screwed that up, but whatever. Because I was wondering what would happen if these guys were to besiege Domatburg, and then, well, whatever. We'll just see. If you have to fight on your own and deal with all these guys, well, then that's just what has to happen. Anyway, yeah, that's an auto-resolve army for now. I might make it into a non-auto-resolve army at some point. Anyway, that was that. I believe that's all that we got to do for this particular turn -1 thing. But a bunch of comments asking me why why I haven't been giving the money to these guys. Basically, while that has been the plan for a number of episodes now, it's this. I think generous gifts max out at to 20k, so it takes a long time to give these guys any money. 8k. I mean, we could sit here and do this all day. I mean, I guess we could just give them each like 100k, maybe. Small gift, generous gift. There you go. There you go, maybe a few more. I'm going to give them more money, but, okay, like this. I'm going to give them more money, but I'll do it when we transfer them their settlements, because what I like to do is essentially transfer the settlement to them and then transfer a settlement back, like trade the settlements back and forth, and just use that to make up the difference with money so that we can give them like 100,000 gold at a time and stuff like that, because yeah, but I guess we can just give them each 100k right now to get them going, so now she giggle. And the Empire's blessings, yes. There we go. Okay, it's hard to click this and think and talk at the same time. Very well. Yeah, just allow them to build some stuff, essentially. And while this is a very undowy thing to do, to give all of these riches to the Umgi, I feel like it's sort of an investment in them actually controlling the lowlands and then us not having to do all the work for them. I guess we could give some money to the western provinces as well. Frankly, I actually don't really care what happens here, but I don't want to lose the ability to build war drums, because they're so nice, since dwarfs kind of lack support units. Anyway, well, I guess we have the engineers now, so sort of a support unit. Highly damaging support unit. Half support unit. The area of effect is very small, but the buff is quite nice, so, you know. Anyway, I lost track of how much money we've given them, so let's just do one more. Alright, there we go. Hopefully, with all those gifts, these guys will be able to build up some of their stuff, because we can see this is tier 2, this is tier 1. They're not really building anything. Granted, it could be a growth issue, but I imagine that the AI has enough growth cheats to actually be able to... Ah, yeah, say they're not building anything here or here. Alright, we'll see next turn if it's a matter of money or not, or whether it's the AI being sort of frozen, and we'll actually see that next turn right now, because we're ready to go next turn, and turn. Oh, the minus 13 control that we're dealing with right now, even with all of our control bonuses, is still a huge deal. So we gotta wait 2 more turns, and then we can fight the battle for the Axe of Dargo. Hey, they will indeed sally out to fight Malachi. I'm glad of that. Let's see how quickly his super buffed up goblin hewers make mincemeat out of those giants, Arachnarok, and trolls. And not to say that the various Slayer pirates won't either, considering how much we buffed their missile strength. Although their range isn't nearly as high in our, well, high-range armies, essentially. It keeps them feeling a little bit different from each other, since Malachi's guys are actually much more likely to actually go into melee combat. Anyway. Oh, and his 2 Thunder Barges should be just about ready as well.
I swear we'll destroy the foe through judicious use of advanced technology, naturally!
I'm sorry, did he just say by Grugny and Smednir and completely leave Morgrim out? What the heck is this, Malachi? Maybe by virtue of being a Slayer engineer, he doesn't have Morgrim's favor anymore? I don't know, but I just find it odd that he said by Grugny and Smednir and ignores Morgrim. Anyway, here we go. We're gonna do a little bit of a running and gunning this time around. The Slayer pirates in this particular army are close range as compared to our long range pistol armies, as we've noted, and thus will want to do a little bit of damage as the enemy army moves on. And plus, against this particular Orky army, minus that 1 artillery piece, the Black Orcs, whatever, the frontliners are relatively slow, so they're not going to catch the Slayer Pirates, and the Slayer Pirates can continue to do damage. And a little bit of support from our Gyrocopters as well. Not quite the sort of run-and-gun army that we're planning with the Kislevite war sleds and other stuff, but, well, it'll still work reasonably nicely for what we've got planned. As a little bit of a preview. Anyway, the enemy keeps approaching, and yes, we are leaving the enemy artillery piece around just to fire back at us. We could obviously instantly destroy it with all of our flyers, but I decided, gotta keep this battle fun, as the enemy admittedly probably has no chance here. Although, of course, we're going to have to wait and see. Malachi doesn't have Vanguard deployments, so he and his Goblin Hewers are staying back, waiting for the rest of our units to arrive. And it makes sense, as we can run and gun all the way to Malachi and then hold ground there. Plus, this gives us time to sort of do damage to the enemy army while waiting for the cooldown of the Spirit of Grugny to be up, and the Spirit of Grugny to arrive on the battlefield. Enemy Black Orc Big Boss, most of the Black Orcs and the Arachnarok Spider are at this point out, and the time has come for the Spirit of Grugny to move on and start dropping bombs, shotgun shells, cannon shells, whatever, grenades. Lots of weapons in this thing, and it's going to start doing good work, as it appeared right on top of the biggest blob of enemy Orc Error Boys, which I guess are the biggest threat other than the giants and trolls and whatnot. Giant will topple, still alive, but not for much longer, I'd wager, as it's got 300 HP, and another volley will bring it down. as long as somebody actually fires upon it, although it looks like it might just turn, especially since some boar boys have managed to reach our line on the right flank. They probably think that that's a good idea, but boar boys are, funnily enough, a kind of a perfect unit for slayers to fight against. Granted, we don't have the anti-large bonus on the slayer parts as we do on the regular slayers, but they're still probably very solid against boar boys. Large, low armor units are the sort of niche for regular slayers, and boar boys definitely fit that. So do things like trolls and such, but anyway. At least the non-armored, non-chaos armored trolls. Anyway, with that, the balance of power has shifted to about 90% in our favor, and while a few of the enemy units managed to reach our line, including some bony boys, which I guess are going to melt away rather than rout, which does explain why they were able to reach us, they're probably not going to stick around for too much longer. Alright, wow, what the heck? What the heck is up with their... Huh. I've never taken a closer look at the bony boys, and their faces are freaky. Huh? somebody had an issue in the Discord with Thorgrim and dwarf units being really weirdly smooth, and they look exactly like this. Also, smooth Thorgrim is the most frightening thing you've ever seen, so you don't need to see it. Anyway, looks like the bony boys are nearly out. And there we go. With them, I do believe the rest of the enemy army will shatter and the battle is ours. The Spirit of Gluttony wasn't on field for too long, but still managed to rack up 164 kills and 30,000 damage, and was just generally super entertaining to watch. You gotta love these things. And it's going to be joined by its two sister ships very shortly, as we now have those thunder barges ready to go. Anyway, we're going to do our best to try to chase the enemies down, as we don't want to be, we don't want to waste the turn since we're besieging. Aw, the game thought that was a close victory, isn't that cute? One of the orc biggins did escape, unfortunately. I was hoping to save the turn of movement, but I guess I missed one unit. Oh well, not a huge deal. 83 oath gold. I think we'll just take the healing. Probably the game's still going to damage our army when we auto-resolve this. Otherwise, yeah, that was pretty darn nasty. Low blows getting 14k damage, but oh wow, massively outdone by this one unit of Slayer parts for some reason. Not entirely sure why, but good for them. So we got 27k on these gyrocopters. Oh right, this is the army where we didn't name the gyrocopters because we named them in the other one. When the other two were 3. Oh, good. Either way, the army did very well. A little bit of good old-fashioned running and gunning.
If you can hold a hammer, you then.
Alrighty, there we go. Looks like the enemies that were at the, I want to say tar pits or whatever the place was called, decided not to sally out. Cowards. Alrighty, Rite of Awakening for Ghost of Pawash. I don't think that matters to us. Merton Allied Outpost lost. That was... Oh, that wasn't Sigmar's time, was it? No. Whose outpost was that? Run. Oh. Well, at least they've survived so far. Granted, we can't build a outpost at Lyonesse, and we can't build it at Castle Kuhan, and those were the only really safe places to build it. I guess Oak of Prophecy might be an option. It doesn't have a wall, but it is kind of out of the way, and maybe that's the best place to build it. Fair enough. Oak of Prophecy it is. Let's give this a shot. Outpost and Oak of Prophecy. Annoying, but it is what it is. Anyway, Toxer and Kruglug. Kruglug, I guess you're next. Western Provinces wants us to go after Laut, the Lord of Liars. Oh, I like the name. I'm gonna have to steal that one. Oh, unless it's like a minor, like a former Lord hero of another faction. It's also a possibility. Anyway, outpost construction begins. And what do we have here? Technology. I believe I said I was going to go for mastercrafted weapons next, just to power up our single entities a little bit more, and then go through the Slayer line, and I think that's still the case. There's nothing here that is super concerning for us, certainly not the money-making stuff, because we already make an obscene amount of cash per turn, up to 560,000 gold per turn. I'm also curious now, do these guys use that money to start building... Oh, they did! Oh, good for them. Huh, they didn't build anything at USAC camp, so I guess they ran out. Alright, I guess we'll ply them with a little bit more cash, assuming we have some left over after this, and we'll do the same thing for the others. We'll see how well they can take care of everything. Let's see. Yeah, they've guys have started upgrading a little bit. What about Imperial as an Empire? Okay, you're not upgrading Dukelberg, and I'm pretty sure being a tier 1 settlement, it probably is upgradable. Some of the... Okay, all of this stuff isn't on its first turn of being constructed, so it was already being constructed previously. Huh. I don't think that any... Oh, okay, they've started building /Scratch Team. Funnily enough, the one place that I actually wanted to get for ourselves. But hey, you know, Rebellion might actually take that from them anyway. Anyway, let's hope that they survive. Thorgrim, back to you, Kent. Let's see. Oh, you can reach Sharpthorn in the forest from here. Oh, good for you. On the one hand, we don't really care about the magical forests and the swamp territories around Old Strigos. The main issue here is that we still have to deal with them, and if we raise them rather than anything else, what will happen is... Do we have a rebellion here? I guess it doesn't really matter. The problem is, if we actually just raise them, we don't know what'll come back, and there is a decent likelihood of something coming back, so... Huh. I do like the fact that we've got dwarven rebels popping up everywhere. Now that we've gotten powerful, our rebels are rebelling. In provinces that should be dwarf-owned anyway, though I'm not so sure about this magical forest, I will admit. Quick save and then auto-resolve in a second. Come on now. Come on, there we go. Alright, and occupy. Alrighty, and we will not collect the income here for obvious reasons. Don't bother with the refectory and don't bother with the Dwarf Tinkerer's shop. We'll upgrade it immediately. I don't know whether we'll actually keep it, but we'll see. And you can, well, just go into High King's Tribute because there's a decent possibility that we keep you, just never bother collecting money from you. You grab the Bloody Tusks Encampment, which I believe is the edge of the territory of Katep, or remaining territory of Katep. This is probably going to damage us because it's a close victory, but it's not worth fighting in terms of the units that we're against here, so we'll just auto-resolve it again. Yeah, it's still hurting our single entities a lot, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Alright, and then this province is secured. We'll go for High King's Tribute, and since we've got the Great Hold up and running at Rusty Dagger's Hold, we're free to upgrade Bloody Tusks and a Rock Crush's Last Stand alike. We'll go for the Gorl Mine, and then delete these two, replacing with a Mine, a Tusk, and another Watch Room. Alright, and we're starting to border the Nerglites, Poxmakers, who currently have 24 settlements. Very nice. Hugeth really did well for himself, didn't he? Oh! Defenders of the Book Great Plan are still alive, but Nakai is not. Huh, they become a separate faction. Well, you know what, we could trade the swamps to them. I don't think that we can... Huh, actually, that's a curious question. Yeah, I don't mind the lizards. They probably won't be super happy about us killing all of the... Not these elves, but probably Eltharian elves. But nonetheless... Wow, 6.5k. They have 6 territories. Ooh. What's the likelihood they're holding, like, Ekrund or something? Either way, it's probably not any of their capitals, right? So, let's do this into military alliance and military access. Plus, this will give us a vision of down here, so I'd like to see what is actually going on here. Oh, we don't need your money. Keep it. Alright, let's hope they're not holding Ekrund, because that's going to be a problem. At the very least, I don't think that they would have moved their capital to Ekrund, as that would be weird. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh, they're actually holding medicinal herbs, which is good, but again, they've got plagues all over there as well, and they're having a little bit of a Nerglite problem, which we're probably going to have to deal with for them. But okay, they're alive. Huh, Agrol Migdal is a hill and a key dwarf settlement, but the climate is unpleasant. Game. Okay. What do we have? Oh, wow. Huh. I guess Nakai pushed all the way out here before these guys died. Ooh, Galbaraz. Okay, we obviously can't let these guys hold Galbaraz with the Oath Gold Mine there. But we can probably trade Razor Clam Coast for another settlement, like one of these settlements. Yeah. Anyway, that was Thorgrim. Who's next? Joseph of Zorn. You're looking to find us a nice Imric to burn. Alright, keep going this way. What if he's just sitting here at the graves of the dragons? It's a distinct possibility. We don't have a, I don't think we have a tech thief nearby, do we? To send out here? We could make another one, but we... Yeah, well, I probably shouldn't be using an engineer for that purpose. Let's just use, I guess, this forbearing Thane. And then move him down here to the graves of the dragons, and we'll just rename you Scout and then delete you afterwards. Scout, not Scoo out. No, damn it. No. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, that's what happens when you rush. Alrighty, Grimly. I believe... this guy's landed. Why did you even land? What is this? What did you think would happen here, dude? Oh, right, Grimly's in ambush stance. Okay, that's fine. That's not this guy's fault. Although, perhaps he could have predicted it. You're a Tzeentch faction, ain't you? Well, maybe Tzeentch didn't tell you about it on purpose. That seems like it is exactly what Tzeentch would do. Anyway, magnificent armor of Boric Beetlebrow. Pretty nice find. You are now good here. Oh, there's still a bunch of factions we're at war with, but... Actually, these guys aren't doing nearly as well as they used to be. Maybe we still probably need to move out this way. But it doesn't necessarily have to be Grimly's army. It's just that he's going to take so long to travel over there. Maybe he'll just pincushion Kolek while this guy moves out here. Don't tell me. Yes, okay, you can jump over here. Yeah, we'll move this guy out here to crack out Ornsmatek, build him a nice army, and... Oh, actually, speaking of building a nice army, who is... Snorri, yes. You now have your... Oh, you can't reach it? Damn, okay, fine. Go here. Right beside Kesserk. Get ready to transfer those new Thunder Barges to Malachi. Alrighty, and then you can be... Huh? What? Is it me, or did we not just fight the Battle of Dushyka, and... What the heck? Why does it now have a full complement of troops that we just defeated? Okay, game is being obnoxious today. Guess we're just gonna have to fight them again. It apparently cancelled our... Yep, that one frickin' unit surviving did this. I guess we're gonna have to fight that battle again. Or if I end the turn between episodes, if I have time, then maybe I'll just fight it between the episodes, because we just did it. Game. Alrighty, you Grimly. I mean, I guess you could take the place of Grimbrindle moving down here to go after Kolek while Gromby deals with the Helpit. Frankly, I don't really care which of you deals with the Helpit, but somebody has to. That obviously has not changed. Also, let's get the mustering hall here. Also, we should have a new Master Engineer, Wayfarer. I don't really care for the Wayfarers, but at the same time, Bugman, I feel like it seems lawfully appropriate for a caravan to have a bunch of Wayfarers in it, so we'll just do that for you. There you go. And that'll complete Bugman's army. There we go. The caravan is ready. And did you guys really not take Averheim? Did you sack Averheim? What are you doing? Okay. Game, please. Oh, we do have siege attack on the war wagons. That's fantastic. I did not realize that. Bugman, take this. I guess we'll transfer it to these idiots. We were going to reinforce to allow them to occupy it, and they still didn't do it. Gotta solve all the AI's problems for it, I guess. Anyway, we will auto-resolve and... Okay, now explain that to me. Why would one Bugman's Rangers get massively damaged? No other... What the heck is this? Why auto-resolve? Why? Okay. I don't even care that it happened. I just want to know why it happened. I just want to know what possible reasoning the auto-resolve could possibly have for doing that. It's hilarious. And it's even funnier that it's a Bugman's Rangers rather than Bugman's Rangers rather than a Slayer unit that got damaged like this. You know, the stalking, sniping, healing, heavily armored, shielded, heavy melee defense unit, not the complete opposite in every way unit. What is this? Oh, and also twice the range as well. Auto-resolve, okay. Gromby, you have arrived... What the heck is this? I mean, we could fight them. This is the Goromadni tribe. They've come down from the mountains to get themselves killed. Isn't that adorable? You can maybe auto-resolve this. Let's see what the auto-resolve says about this. I think you approached us, but then you're gonna run. Okay. I wonder if this will interfere with us taking Resfeared Port. Yeah, this is a quick auto-resolve. Let's see what the damage is. Not too bad. We will just heal up. Let's face it, from what we saw from last battle, they would have had no chance whatsoever against Grimbrindle. Speaking of Grimbrindle, and go to Resfeared Port and take out the last of the Bearsonlings. Oh, wait, no, this is the Resfearedlings. They'll all be equally dead sooner rather than later. Anyway, occupy. Lovely, and with that, the faction should be finally destroyed. We are now bordering Kolek, but that'll, I think, once again, will leave for Grimly. Admittedly, the Iron Drakes would obliterate Kolek long before he was able to reach our line, but I just think it'll be more interesting to have Grimly fight it, because it'll be tougher to fight Kolek than for Grimbrindle, who would be specialized specifically against that type of army. Anyway, you can go in to empower the guilds, it doesn't really matter. And you can get ready to move while you guys swap your territories, or positions, or whatever. Swap something, so unless you giggle. Finn Arcandra Eskelson, you are going to attack this. It's kind of not worthy of our attention. I do have to wonder whether there's a full stack nearby, but I think we'll just auto-resolve it, it's whatever. Damage or not, unless there's, you know, 2 full stacks that attack us at once after this, the Finn will be fine, I'm sure. And hey, there we go. Now we have our high pressure extraction plant. Oh, what? Well, the oil plant, whatever. Rangers Outpost delete, though I do like the Rangers Outpost here, I do admit. And we'll just upgrade the Dwarf Keep and don't collect the income here as yet. Alright, Ranger Standard, you're looking good. Who's up next after you? Rearguard Asgal, and I don't know why I keep checking the rearguards. I should just delete them, I probably will. And ooh, hello, we got a decent amount of oath gold now. Forge, what I wanted next was 2 things. We've got the Prospector Spyglass on nearly every engineer. Oh, and I just got a couple more engineers, so we should actually get a couple more of those. Hopefully I remember to actually give them... I should just automatically do this every time a new engineer comes up. But anyway, the other thing that we wanted, or the other things that we wanted... Obviously the Iron Warden tankards, but they're expensive and they don't power up armies so much as single entities. And what we want to do is power up armies, namely via the Ironbeard's Ring, which gives a weakness to fire in an area around it, and thus every single fire army should have one of these. Or probably 2 of these. So let's get like 6 of them on field. What the heck? Gatekeeper's Ratcatcher. Oh, it goes... Oh, okay, you can't click it. Okay, so 1, 2... You know what? I'll do this between the episodes, and maybe build some of the Gatekeeper's Hammers as well with that Chilling Aura. And the Frostfire army will have both the Chilling Aura and the Fire Aura. Double your fun. Alright, anyway, let's, I'll do that between the episodes, because this is hilariously wasteful. Anyway, Thoric Ironbrow, head to the Hill of Bones, and I do believe there's a stack there. Yes, indeed, Lautzi, Lord of Liars. Somebody please remind me about this name, because I want to steal it for my Kairos campaign. I just like the name. And this does look like a proper fight for Mr. Thoric. Is this a minor settlement? Hill of Bones, it is indeed a minor settlement, so it'll be an unwalled settlement battle. Alright, I think we got time for one more fight this episode, so we're gonna take it and do it. Let's see, is there anything we need out of this? I don't think so. We should be moving through Obstinacy, though at the same time, Thoric probably wants to actually be able to cast some runes, being a rune lord and all of that. You can go through Blade Shield and, I guess, Scarred Vet. Mostly getting you to stop big old single entities. Definitely Rune of Hearth and Home is needed. Let's get Damping against Zinch as well. Alright, and you have Scouting. Alright, that's because in this particular army we have every single type of thing. Yeah, that's fine. And we could move towards Retinue Physician as well. We have Rune of Wrath and... well, we should get at least a base version of Rune of Oath and Steel, admittedly. Enemy armor... Well, you know what? The enemy armor in region... Stacking 3 to 4 Master Runes of Spite might actually be worth our time as well. Yeah. Damp, Spite, etc. Alrighty, you, Engineer. Still need another one in this army, but for now, let's get We Are the Elite. to Sapper, I guess, to speed these up. I'd love to get Zipar 42-pounders, but not in Thorak's army. I just can't do it. A Rune of Hearth and Home for you. We have Damping already. Let's get Master Rune of Spite. And then... we do want to move into Rune of Sanctuary as well for all of our runesmiths, but... I mean, we also do want to get the Strike the Runes, but it's not really super necessary for us right now. Yeah, you know what? Let's start moving through to Rune of Sanctuary. We're fighting Tzeentch, and it's kind of a decent counter for him. And I guess Rune of Spellbreaking as well, since we went for Karaki anyway in terms of the additional enemy miscast. Though, it's not going to do anything to Kairos, I think, because he's fairly unlikely to miscast. But anyway, let's get you Scarred Vet, shall we? Alrighty, and then you can do the same thing. You can get Rune of Hearth and Home, Ward Breaker, and then lastly into Master Rune of Spite. Lovely. Thane. From what I recall, this Traumac Thane is just going to go Guardian, just to get Guardian up and running, because we don't have any other units in this army that could benefit from anything that you can do. So might as well do that. And then we will... Blade Master, Relentless rather. Could get another point in hero, but it probably doesn't worth our time, to be honest. Let's get Blade Master. Alright, now, I guess the other question is, do we actually want to fight this as a minor settlement battle, similar to the one that we already fought at the City of Splinters, or do we want to just straight up attack the place, or allow them to attack us in the field? Which would probably be a more fun battle than them sitting back while we bombard them with artillery. Admittedly, I think it'll be a much tougher battle on the field because, I mean, we'd be horrifically outnumbered. You know what, let's do it as a field battle. I think we'll enjoy ourselves more. Watch this guy ambush us with the ambush stance. But hey, if it happens, Thorgrim, or Thorak rather, you're just gonna have to survive. I think we'll save that one for the next episode. It'll be much better a battle. And we're all about getting better battles. Better battles. You guys, I'll deal with these guys between the episodes. They're supposed to sort of mix units and then move elsewhere. Malachi's now besieging for a second time because of some silliness that happened with his siege having failed for some reason. Rearguard Holdfast, I don't know why I clicked you. Callan Helldower, I do know why I clicked you. I mean, technically, you're still just being used as an auto-resolver. Just sit here near Bugman, who's still traveling north to try to deal with some stuff. Yeah. Azrael. We can bring Vlad down one last... well, I guess not last time, because he'll come back right here. Yeah. But we probably can't leave him here, so we'll... oh, and we actually want to keep Mordheim, one of the only places here that we want to keep. So yeah, go for Mordheim. Should be a quick little occupy and auto-resolve. And don't collect income here, please. Alright, and this will auto-resolve, and we'll quick save. Mordheim is a Badlands territory, or Wasteland-type territory. Meaning it's a green territory in the midst of all this, and we'll just hold it as a sort of single little fortified territory in the midst of the Empire. There's a few of these, kind of like Bugman's Brewery, that we'll want to just maintain. Don't collect income, just go for... I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Maybe growth. And then start building. Oh, and it's got a port here. I like it. Yeah. Keep Deadwood / Mordheim for yourselves, and it's walled, so it should be nice and fortified. And then we're done here. Now, Azrael will begin to move towards the Silver Pinnacle, which we might actually use as this sort of finale event for the campaign. If the summoning of the, like, dozen or half dozen, whatever it is, full stacks of super elite undead armies actually functions, and I'm very hopeful that it does. Anyway, I think, folks, with that, this is probably going to be a good place to call the episode, so I'm going to call it here. There's a bunch of admin to do and a bunch of, like, little armies to consolidate and move around between the episodes, so I'll deal with that. And when we come back, we continue advancing into the territories of Heinrich Kemmler, who's on the back foot now, preparing for the full takeover of this section of mountain before heading onward towards Skavenblight, which is still very much growing. Look at all these Skaven everywhere. Maybe we should ply the Bretonnians with some cash as well, in the same way that we're doing the Empire now. Aberheim. Oh, right. Okay, don't collect the income here either. Oh, and we'll probably do the Axe of Dargo quest next episode, so that should be pretty fun. Anyway, more Dabbie to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as they will determine how much longer this campaign continues to run. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.